Hey folks, Mark here. This gonna be the toughest video I ever made for sure. But it's not meant to be sad or a downer or anything like that. And what this is my dog Jimmy we're looking at. This is in honor of my dog Jimmy, and he's 14 now. And in 5 days, including today, I'm gonna have to euthanize Jimmy because he's got severe pancreas failure, kidney failure, and heart disease, all three at the same time. And the treatment for one thing is bad for the other thing. So Jimmy and I've got 5 days left together. Yes. So we're gonna spend them together all day. We're gonna have as much fun as we can. Lots of petting, lots of lap time. But let me tell you about this dog. When I got him, first of all, my mom adopted this puppy. She got this puppy, Jimmy, at 8 weeks old. Okay. He sat on my lap, an 8-week-old puppy, and he was so scared on my lap. He was shaking so hard I thought he was going to come apart at the seams. Okay, and then he spent his first night with me because I slept over at my mom's house, and he spent the first night with me. And then he lived with my mom at her apartment, and I lived elsewhere. Well, my mom had some serious issues, and she never trained Jimmy at all. She didn't spend any time with Jimmy. She slept 80 to 90% of the time. So Jimmy was on his own. Now I loved Jimmy. I loved him immediately. So, and every chance I worked and lived elsewhere, but every chance I got, I would drive up and visit Jimmy, and we formed an extremely strong bond through that. Well, years later, my mom has moved into a assisted living situation for seniors, and with Jimmy, and she's gotten so to where she could no longer take care of Jimmy at all. Is what happened. So I had sent my brother Lance a text saying, "How's this?" Was 8 years ago. I sent my brother Lance a text saying, "Hey, how's Jimmy doing?" And it was a good thing I sent the text then because he said, "Well, Jimmy's getting kicked out of the assisted living facility, and my mother had never trained him. I trained Jimmy the best I could when I visited, but since my mom didn't reinforce that, it didn't stick. So he was untrained." Anyway, so my brother, being a very nice man, he said, "Well, I'm going to go ahead and uh, hire someone to train Jimmy so that he'll be adoptable and adopt him out. You know, take him to get him trained and then take him to a shelter to be adopted out, a good shelter." That was the plan. Well, as soon as I heard that, I said, "I'm coming to get Jimmy right now." So I did come and get Jimmy. I did come and get Jimmy. And ever since that time, this dog and I, and particularly the dog, Jimmy, we've been through amazing uh, heaven and hell together. We 3 weeks after I got him, he had a serious hernia, and the operation was risky. He survived that with flying colors. A couple years later, he got a second hernia. Again, very risky. Again, survived that with flying colors. He he was choking on vomit one morning and had a heart attack and was actually dead for several minutes. He was not breathing. He was not conscious. He was gone for about 3 minutes. I brought him back, believe it or not, with chest compressions and mouth to mouth resuscitation. I used one hand to plug the sides of his mouth, and then the other hand to wrap around his nose, and then I blew. And I gave him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation as you would a human, and he came back. That was about 9 months ago. He could have and should have been gone then. Uh, so anyway, Jimmy's had he had a serious abscess from one of his teeth that made his whole face swell up over here. He's been through that. He got that fixed. He oh my gosh, he had a non-malignant tumor that had to be removed surgically. He had I can't remember everything. He was diagnosed with a heart murmur about 2 years ago, which uh, which wasn't good. And it just at this point, at 14 years of age now, Jimmy's body is shutting down. He's not. The nice thing is, well, a good thing is that Jimmy's not dying early. He's 14 years old, and 15 is the max of her dog of this breed, and being a miniature and all that. So Jimmy has gotten a full lifespan. We get to have the next 5 days together, and I know that it's our last 5 days together. So we're really gonna make the most of it. Yeah. So that's what he's been through, and he's just come out on top. So this is in honor of Jimmy. And excuse me. And also out of deep respect for this little dog. Yes, sir. So we're gonna have a good time, and he's gonna pass on my lap uh, on Thursday. So in the meantime, we're gonna have a real good time. Anyway, this is to honor him because he's really been an amazing dog, and he's gotten to have a good long run. He's had a full lifespan despite all these problems that he's had, and I've even forgotten a couple of them. But despite all these serious problems that he had, and for the last year, and I didn't know it, he had kidney disease, and pancreas was getting bad, and heart was getting worse, and I didn't know that. But 15 is a max lifespan for Jimmy, and Jimmy's lived to be more than 14. So Jimmy's gotten to live a full lifespan despite all kinds of problems. He's always been the favorite part of my RC because I always look forward to coming back and seeing him after a flight or a crawl. So Jimmy's always been there with me wherever I go, and we've had a real good life together. Real good life together. So again, this is not to be meant to be a downer or sad. It's a celebration of this little dog here, Jimmy the super dog, and I hope you'll all, I don't know, think about him. All right, see you. Signing off. Bye.